So before we get started, got to give a big shout out to OpenFortune for making today's episode possible. Really excited for this one. Today we're with Julie Uhrman. Julie is a powerhouse in the world of sports and entertainment, best known as the founder and president of Angel City FC, the groundbreaking professional women's soccer club that joined the NWSL and officially launched in Los Angeles in 2022. With her at the helm, Angel City has quickly become a force to be reckoned with, driving awareness, growth, and strategic excellence while pushing the boundaries of what a sports club can achieve both on and off the field. Julie's day-to-day leadership encompasses everything from sponsorships and partnerships to ticketing, brand and community engagement, social impact, and investor relationships, and probably a lot more that I just forgot and didn't put in here, making her one of the most influential figures in sports today. Her efforts have not gone unnoticed, though. She's earned spots on Sports Illustrated's Power List of the 50 most inspirational figures in sports and was named one of SBJ's Game Changers in 2023. But Julie's impact doesn't stop at the pitch. She's also a seasoned advisor for ventures like Drive by DraftKings and Act One Ventures, bringing her unique vision and expertise to a broader business landscape. Before Angel FC, Julie had already established herself as a leader in the media and tech industries with high-profile roles at Lionsgate, IGN Entertainment, and even founding the gaming console Ouya. Whether in the boardroom or on the field, Julie's a leader who knows how to turn bold ideas into reality. And right now we're here in reality with Julie. I really appreciate you joining me.
I don't know, the bio sounds much better than the reality.
This is awesome stuff. There's a ton to dive in here, and I know we don't have all the time in the world, so we're not going to be able to touch on all of it. But, tell me a little bit just about like you growing up and your love of sports and what you wanted to be. Did you want to be an astronaut? What was the plan?
Well, I think the irony is I never thought I could be an executive in sports. Like, I didn't know that was a job I can have. It really wasn't until I saw the movie Jerry Maguire that I thought there was roles in sports other than on the pitch or on the court. So, but no, I grew up in Los Angeles. I have a twin sister and grew up with a family that was incredibly supportive, a mom who was a teacher and a dad who was a lawyer and a stepfather who was an entrepreneur. And for most of my life, really instilled in myself and my sister how important it was to be our own bosses, to blaze our own trails, to be in control of the revenue side of the business so that you're not ever expensible. And that really drove us. Even to when I went to college, I started 2 businesses with my sister. We won a business plan writing competition. And so this idea of being an entrepreneur and building, I think was instilled from a really young age.
And what about entrepreneurship? Do you just like what?
I like seeing things come to life. Like I like building something that wasn't there before, finding something that I'm truly passionate about, and then betting on myself.
And obviously as an entrepreneur, you need to still get experience, right? What experience did you need that was so comfortable in making today possible?
Yeah, I mean, I joke that it'll take you longer to read my LinkedIn profile than it will to listen to this podcast. One of the hardest things about being an entrepreneur is most of your lessons are learned by failing. It's by making mistakes, and it's leveraging those experiences to hopefully do better the next time. But it's a really hard learning curve, and sometimes it's really painful. So in my early career, I actually probably unintentionally would go from a traditional large company, learning in the safety of that kind of environment that had budget, resources, staff. And then sort of my next role would always be an entrepreneurial role. I try to take what I learned, but I started as an investment banker, always wanted to be an investment banker.
Even after seeing Jerry Maguire?
Even after seeing Jerry Maguire, because being a banker is very similar almost to being an entrepreneur. Even though it's not my idea, it's my role to help that entrepreneur raise money, go public, do private placements, sell their company, right? So you sort of take on the vision of that entrepreneur and help them achieve their goals. And so that was really important because it allowed me to really understand, forecasting and modeling and sales. And I think what's really brings my own entire career together and what's sort of so special about being a brand genius here at Adweek is that everything is storytelling. It's everything, right? So whether you're an entrepreneur or you have a sales job or a marketing job, you're always telling a story. And how captivating, interesting, engaging can that story be to bring people in, whether that's fans, customers, or partners?
Sure. And when you're becoming the president of Angel FC, right, what is that story that you're working on with the team and the initial pitch?
Angel City FC was a very different pitch. Los Angeles is a very difficult market. We have 11 professional sports teams, USC and UCLA, the beach and the mountains. There are 2 professional men's football clubs there, and there was a women's football club that lasted 1 year in 2010. So it's a really hard marketplace to be recognized, let alone to have something where people would spend money for you. And even though we probably have the largest group of youth soccer players in Southern California, who you would think would be your audience no matter what, they're playing on the weekends. They're traveling 3, 4, 5 hours. So you really have to focus on how do you build that community. And so for us, it was two things. One, we had to build something that was incredibly engaging, that would make fans come. And two, we wanted to build a business that was profitable. We wanted to change the narrative around the idea that people don't invest in women's sports, they don't care about women's sports. But leading with the goal of profitability isn't something that brings us in. And I have two co-founders, Natalie Portman, the actress and activist, and Karen Uhrman, who's a venture capitalist. And they came together through their work at Time's Up, which was supporting the U.S. women's national team as they embarked on their lawsuit against U.S. soccer for pay equity. And so we realized very early on that we wanted to build a club that was representative of values that we cared about, which truly was equity. So from the beginning, Angel City was bigger than just a club in a city. It was about using sport and entertainment to drive to equity, building a relationship with our fan base that ultimately showed up on the pitch. So we talk about how if we lead with passion and purpose to drive to profitability, others will follow.
Yeah, and I mean, you guys have actually absolutely done that, right? And if you step in the stadium, you know that there's something special there. Was there a moment that you and the rest of your co-founding team knew that, hey, there is something really special here, and like it's already shown?
The home opener was pretty incredible. I remember going to, at the time, it's called Bank of California. Now it's BMO Stadium where we play. It's 22,000 seats. And when it's empty, it is really big. And the idea of how could we ever fill this? And then in the home opener, sold out crowd. It was pretty incredible. But leading up to that, there were small moments. July 1st, 2021, we announced our name and our colors, and we did an event at BMO Stadium to unveil it to our community. We had no idea if 10 people would show up or 100 people. We had 4,000 or 5,000 people show up to want to be part of something from the beginning.
Why do you think was there any marketing materials or?
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, interesting again to the topic of marketing, we started building Angel City in August of 2019. We got the rights for Los Angeles to be an expansion team in May of 2021. We announced Angel City to the world, this idea that we are bringing a women's professional soccer team to Los Angeles in July of 21. We met with half a dozen social and marketing agencies saying, help us tell our story, build our brand, build our community. 5 of the 6 said, build what? Like, they were like, you don't have a name. You don't have colors. You don't have a player. You don't have a coach. You don't have a GM. You don't have a stadium. They're like, what in the world are we going to do? Because like a sports team is so clearly who the players are, right? And they're like, you don't have any of that. And I said, you're right. But what I have is our values. We're leading with impact. We're building, we're building to drive to gender equity and pay equity. We're going to be in the community telling the story of women's football, how we're going to invest, how we're going to build it differently. And we're going to make ourselves invaluable to the community through, we did equipment drives and food drives and really showing up in the community and saying we're together on this and we're going to build this together. And we utilized our community to help us build our brand and our colors and come up with our name. And so that part was really exciting. And we start to see a supporter culture start to build around Angel City. And that day, July 1st, was sort of incredible. The second day that was really inspiring for us was in Q1 of 2022, right before we kicked off the season. We had 3 days where people that wanted to be season ticket holders could come to the stadium and sit in seats and look at the pitch and say, I want this seat. Not online, not talk to person, but actually come to the stadium. This is still during COVID. Everyone's still wearing masks. We would have 3 different slots throughout the day. The first slot was at 9 a.m. in the morning. We had a line at 6 a.m. because they wanted to be the first ones in the stadium, to be the first ones to sit on a seat. And like that was
There's something here.
just emotional.
Yeah.
That first day, I went outside to like rally I get everyone all excited because they've been waiting in line for a while. And I walked up to this dad and young girl, and she must have been 8 or 9 at the time. And I leaned over to her and I said, who do you want to see on Angel City? Right? Like what play? Because we hadn't even announced players yet. And in my head, I thought she would say like Kristen Press or Alex Morgan, like obviously like one of the big U.S. women's national team players. And she paused and then she said, me. And it was like, the reason we exist, right? We exist so that they can see it, so they can believe that one day, not only can they be a professional women's soccer player and make a living doing it, but they could do it in their own backyard. And it was so incredible that she got it. So yeah, we've had some special days at Angel City.
You look over at the WNBA doing amazing work. I spoke to one of their marketers recently, and he was saying, the WNBA has always had a ton of supporters. It's very easy to say, I support women's sports, I support what it stands for the pay gap and everything that goes along with it. But he said, we need more fans.
Yep.
Right? We have supporters. We don't care if you're just wearing a WNBA hoodie around. Like, we want you in seats. We want you caring. We want you bought into the storyline. And that's what he said has made all the difference.
Yep.
In this year and getting people into beds. How are you doing that for Angel City FC?
Yeah, I mean, when you think about the WNBA, they've always had a great product. They've always had great players, but they needed that catalyst. They needed the catalyst to drive people to watch their first game in the seats, and then they're coming, right? And so the catalyst, I think, for this incredible WNBA season really goes back to the NCAA March Madness. When you had Caitlin Clark and you had Angel Reese, right? You had this incredible group of players that you fell in love with in the NCAA tournament, and then they transitioned into the WNBA, and you kept following them. And I think for women's football, our catalyst has always been the Olympics and the World Cup. After the Olympics and the World Cup, these players become household names. They are champions. They win. And you want to come and see them again. But then you need the local teams to invest in the product so that you want to keep coming back. And we're starting to see that in the NWSL. I think for Angel City, it was being intentional from day one about investing in that game day experience where we would create a FOMO experience. If you weren't there, you were upset. And we looked at what are the best, game day experiences. And I talk about it a lot, but we wanted to replicate the Showtime era of 1980s Lakers, where you would go to see either Magic Johnson on the court, or you'd go to see who Jack Nicholson sat with courtside. Like, that's why you would go to a match. I have 100 investors. We have Mia Hamm and Abby Wambach and Jen Gardner at every game. And then we have these incredible players, including U.S. Women's National Team players. So we knew we'd have the product, but it was, how do you get people thinking about Angel City from the moment they wake up to the moment they go to bed? So a fan fest 4 hours before the game where we have entertainment and excitement and something for everyone. That was really critical because people always think women's sports is for kids or it's for families. And then they create this family experience. And if you're a millennial or Gen Z or I don't know, they aren't anymore, 20s or in your 30s, like, you don't want to go to an experience that's just for kids,
Sure.
right? You don't want to go someplace where all you see are bouncy houses and face painting. You want to go someplace where there's the Johnny Walker bar and there's this level of entertainment and excitement. So we made sure that we had an experience for everyone. There was a price point for everyone because it's Los Angeles, right? So if you pay $10,000 to sit courtside to see the Clippers or the Lakers, like, that money could come to me also because my product's just as good. So we have tickets that range from $15 to suites that are $50,000. We have an experience for everyone. And then the motto that we live by, which I think is what continues to accelerate our growth and excitement with fans, is that every game is somebody's first game.
Yeah.
So that means every game we are raising the bar on ourselves, because if you come to a match and then you bring a friend, not only do we want your friend to say, this is amazing, but we want you to say, oh my God, this was better than last week.
So you get people who might have not normally gone to a women's sports event to one, right? So that happened to me with the Liberty, right? But you want then going to a game, be like, whoa, this is great, and then doubling down, which you guys have clearly done. What's next? What's next for y'all? Like, I know you're gonna start to go on stage, talk about the future. We talk about a lot of what you're proud of, but what's next for Angel FC?
Yeah, I mean, we talk about this all the time. Angel City is more than just a club, right? It's the impact we give in the community, but we want to build to be a global brand so we can drive more influence, which, from a business standpoint, will eventually drive revenue and impact. So how do we continue to expand the Angel City brand, whether it's through merch or licensing? How do we build more fandom for our players by taking our team on the road, to doing tours, to playing abroad, to grow that fan base? And then what are other potential products, services, or clubs that we can invest in our own that we can, again, make part of this bigger sort of Angel City brand? So, we're valued at $250 million today. We want to be valued $1 billion in 5 years. And so we have a little bit more growth ahead of us.
There we go. Well, I can't wait to see you guys valued at $1 billion. It'll just be soon.
First ones. That's our goal.
Yeah. Before we hit the quick question round, got to give a big shout out to OpenFortune. Are you looking for a unique way to reach your audience? OpenFortune offers an innovative approach to advertising by placing your brand message inside fortune cookies, reaching 99% of U.S. zip codes through a network of 47,000 restaurants. It's a memorable and effective way to connect with consumers at a moment when they are most receptive. So check out OpenFortune if you're interested, and thanks for making this episode possible. Let's crack open one of these and see if our fortunes even have anything to do with this episode. I got a bad one.
Fun fact, at my wedding, this was the gift at the table.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we put our own fortune in, we had 3 or 4 different sayings on the inside. They were dipped in chocolate though, so there's that. All right, I'm gonna go first. Life has its obligations. Having fun is one of them. I like that.
What you got in the back?
Oh, steak.
There you go.
There we go.
You will find ways to have more fun this month. I hope so. Maybe go into Angel FC. What did you put in the fortune cookies, Jess?
They were just saying we liked.
Nice.
Yeah, it was cute.
That is good. Person you most want to sit down to dinner with, dead or alive?
I'd love to spend more time with Billie Jean King. She's one of our owners and just an incredible human.
Favorite city in the world?
London.
Is it okay to sleep with socks on?
Yes.
Favorite rom-com?
I mean, I can only really think of Schitt's Creek and Friends, so
There you
go. Go.
Best spot to eat in LA?
Soho House, Malibu.
In 40 years, what will people be nostalgic for?
Cell phones.
Top 3 brands right now that you think are doing an awesome job?
Johnny Walker. DoorDash. And I would say BMO.
One thing people don't understand about women's sports is
It's fun and exciting.
what's the worst advice you've ever been given?
Hide your emotions.
Hide your emotions.
You wear your emotions on your sleeve, and that was seen as a negative.
Define the internet in one sentence.
Power.
And in 10 years, where can we catch you?
Hopefully you won't be able to. Hopefully by that point I'm retired.
Can't catch her. So this is the podcast. I really appreciate you joining us.